Hello and welcome everyone. My name is Leela Rhodes and I'll be your moderator today. Thank you so much for joining us here at NetCom Learning, a market leader in promoting lifelong learning, training, and talent development solutions. We are very excited to host today's webinar, 5 Disruptive Trends Impacting the Project Management Domain. And presenting today's topic is Soumik Das. Soumik is a project management subject matter expert with over 15 years of progressive experience in project and service delivery management, and his focus areas include task tracking, team management, client interaction, problem solving, defect prevention, and process implementation. He possesses a vast knowledge of the latest project management tools, and he has also assisted clients in managing and monitoring projects using the project management tool, MS Project 2010-2013. Please bear in mind that this is just an overview of a very robust topic, and we do offer a collection of technical and business courses that can be tailored towards your specific requirements. And if you're interested in a further discussion about any of those, you can make an appointment with our learning consultants through our website at www.netcomlearning.com. NetCom Learning helps customers build innovative learning organizations by achieving a smarter workforce, adopting change, and driving growth. And we do this with a broad catalog of offerings, developing customized learning plans and our global delivery capabilities. Since 1998, we have been empowering organizations with our managed learning services to help them reach optimal performance results and address challenges. And we have 9 practice areas in which we specialize. They encompass people, process, and technology training. Today's presentation is from the business process practice area. You can access a variety of business process marketing assets, such as the free 1-hour training, free on-demand training, and blog by clicking on the available webinar handout. And these offerings can also be found with a simple search on our website at www.netcomlearning.com. In this webinar, we will explore and learn about trends that have impacted the world of project management, unique opportunities these trends will bring to this platform or to this profession, and much more. And now I'm going to go ahead and pass the time over to Soumik.
All right. Welcome, everyone. Like Leela already informed you that we will be talking about the disruptive trends impacting the project management domain. So practically speaking, when we talk about these trends, what exactly is happening? What exactly we will be covering in this webinar? What are the topics that we're going to talk about? So we primarily will be talking about the trends, the 5 trends that we have identified that probably going to change the way the entire project management is going to look like in future. Then we're going to talk about why should project managers evolve as professionals, or what are the areas that they're supposed to go ahead and pick and choose to go ahead and evolve themselves, and how exactly project managers can evolve. These are the topics that we will be going ahead and covering in today's webinar. So to start with, let's look into the facts now. The situation at this point, because of the pandemic, because of a lot of things going on, in a way, almost like 2.5 years, 3 years back, all the movement, all the growth that was happening, all the progress that was happening, all of that is all of a sudden moved to a standstill situation. Things are almost stopped, projects are cancelled. Now, what's going to happen in future is, once we're going to move out of this pandemic, there will be a boom in the world of project management. Businesses, organizations, governments, they would require projects to be delivered as early as possible. They would require new improvements to go ahead and implement it in their organization. Things supposed to change, and project is the best means to go ahead and bring that change. So it's gonna go ahead and play a huge role, a huge as in it's gonna go ahead, probably the next thing in coming years is gonna be most of the people, most of the organizations, most of the resources working in the organizations will be somehow gonna be involved in project and project management. Now, with this upcoming boom, there will be few more things that's gonna come, and that's gonna be the changes of how exactly projects are managed. Now, when we talk about the whole history of project management, it's not something that being introduced recently. Project management as a concept, it's not new. It's a pretty old thing. And to tell you the truth, the way we are managing the projects even today, it's still the same way, it's still the same approach that we are following. We are still going ahead and trying to go ahead and follow the same command and control approach. We are still going ahead and trying to find out some frameworks, some methodologies to go ahead and implement our project management. Practically speaking, we are still kind of sticking to the book, what the book says, what the methodology says, what the framework says. What's going to change, what's going to be new in future is project success will be defined by the freedom that we're going to give to the resources, that we're going to give to the people who are involved in the project work, rather than going ahead and restricting them in following some kind of framework. So things that's going to be new. When I say disruptive, this is going to go ahead and change the way projects are managed. This is going to change the way projects are being implemented. The first thing is going to be end of job description and the start of project roles. What exactly this means? At this point, we are stick to a particular job description. Someone says what role you perform, we go ahead and say, okay, I perform this role. This is the job description assigned to it. Moving forward, what's going to happen is organizations will start looking for people who are not going to be restricted to that job description only. They want people who are willing to take ownership. They need resources who can go ahead and take the accountability on themselves and go ahead and accomplish things, who can go ahead and deliver things. Let's take an example, a simple example of the project manager. At this point in time, when we talk about a project manager, what we consider, what we think that project manager's role or project manager's job is to go ahead and command and control things, define the plan, manage the plan, and that's it. That's where the job of a project manager ends. That's gonna change. What is expected, or what is gonna be expected from project manager, is how exactly these entities, how exactly these roles can go ahead and help achieve the business objective. So the role will be more business centric now, not just the role of project manager. I took the role of project manager for an example, but going forward, all the roles that's going to be involved with projects and project management are supposed to be more business centric, are supposed to be more business oriented. Project manager, the second thing, from project manager to strategic implementation professionals. So these project managers are supposed to be someone who can go ahead and implement the strategy, the business strategy. We, at this point, as of now, from the past, what we have learned within project management is this is the project scope, and that's what we as project managers go ahead and focus on. Our objective, or what exactly we try to focus, what exactly we try to deliver, is this is a product. Let's say the project objective is to deliver a product, so we go ahead and emphasize on that product only. What is needed now, or what's going to change now, is how exactly this product gonna impact the business, how exactly we can go ahead and bring, or how we can go ahead and implement the strategy as a whole. That's something which is going to be new in future, coming future. I mean, it's already started. You probably have already noticed that at this point, we expect our project managers to act as a bridge between the technology and business. We expect or we want our project managers who can understand the concept of both the world and can go ahead and combine these concepts together. Third thing is going to be, as project managers, we need to go ahead and look way above and beyond the framework structure. We cannot go ahead and restrict ourselves, saying that, okay, I'm going to use just a waterfall approach, or I'm going to use the agile approach. It's going to change. It is supposed to change. Why? Every project is going to be different. Every project, when I say within one organization, let's take an example. You have an organization A. This organization A would be going ahead and funding multiple projects, and all these projects are going to be different from each other. All these projects cannot be managed in one defined way. You need to find out different processes. Practically, your processes have to be empirical by nature. As the project moves on, you decide what's right, what's not for the project. So sticking to a particular framework is gonna be inviting a lot of uncertainties, inviting a lot of risks to your project. Um, Not that I want to go ahead and promote something. You probably have heard a concept of disciplined agile. Now, when I say disciplined agile, it sounds like, okay, it's just probably another form of agile, but that's not true. Disciplined agile is more of a approach which essentially talks about how you go ahead and combine all these concepts when it comes to waterfall, when it comes to agile, when it comes to lean, how you can go ahead and use all these concepts, where exactly you're supposed to go ahead and use one particular approach, where exactly you're supposed to use the other approach. And remember, when we talk about these approaches, excuse me, when we talk about these approaches, when we go ahead and see a comparison, most of the time when we go online and search a comparison between waterfall and agile and all these approaches, it seems like, okay, waterfall seems like an old approach and it's not a very good approach. Always sounds like the better approach is when we go ahead and use the agile way of working, but that's essentially not true. In a project world, waterfall approach is still very much viable. Remember, it's not that it is out of scope. It's still very much viable. Projects where the impact of change can be huge, can have a drastic impact, can make or can bring in a situation where the project is no more viable. In these kind of environments, you probably want to use a waterfall approach. So all these approaches that we talk about, they are very much effective. But question is, which project approach, which project technique, which project tool is going to be effective in your scenario, in your project? You as a project manager, you as someone who's part of the organization needs to pick and choose. You probably have to end up combining multiple tools and techniques, multiple approaches, multiple ways of working together. Project managers are very much inclined or assigned to an entity called PMO, the Project Management Office. The current situation, if I have to go ahead and explain the way PMOs work right now, most of the time these PMOs are reporting to the CXO levels. Their primary job at this point is primarily to go ahead and capture the capture and maintain the project data and project information. They go ahead and capture the progress of the project. They update that records. So technically speaking, they're more of a entity who helps archive the project documents. That's not required anymore, because most of the thing that I just now said can be automated. Why exactly an organization will go ahead and maintain a PMO to do something which can be automated, which essentially means it's going to be much more cost effective, would lead to less number of human errors. That essentially means the whole PMO thing needs to transform. And what kind of transformation are we expecting now? When we talk about project, when we talk about the value the project is going to deliver, when we talk about the strategy of the business, PMO can take the role to make sure that the strategy of the business and the project is aligned. When we talk about the value delivered by the project, the PMO can go ahead and take the role to ensure that the project, even after the project is closed, is delivering the value that has been expected from the project. So this is what's supposed to be changed. This is what's supposed to go ahead and supposed to be implemented or adapted from the PMO's perspective. Another thing that's going to change is we're going to see a lot of automation. We're going to see a lot of involvement of technology in project management. When I say technology, as of now, one of the major thing project managers do is um, breaking down the project plan, preparing an activity list, assigning those activities to the resources, calculating the cost, calculating the time, calculating the resources required. Pretty soon, we're going to see all this to be done by machines. Where exactly the role of a project manager is required then? You need to find out how you can go ahead and keep yourself valuable even in that situation. See, I don't want to go ahead and say that this is going to happen right away, but it's going to happen. Tools like MS Project, tools like Jira, tools like Primavera, they are existing, and organizations who are developing these tools are continuously going ahead and developing them further, which means there will be a time when you just have to go ahead and maintain a list of resources that are available with their defined skill set, list of activities, and the system will auto assign the resources. The system will automatically, based on the performance of the resource in the past, the system can go ahead and calculate how much time the resource is going to take to go ahead and complete that task. Based on the resource utilization, cost calculations can be done. So for us, for project managers, we need to embrace this change in technology. We cannot resist it. It's going to happen. It's going to happen by any means. Now, the important question: why should project managers evolve? as professionals. First thing, or the first point, the landscape is changing. If you look back somewhere around 12 years, 15 years, in a simple software development organization, the customer used to come to you, give you a list of detailed requirements. You go ahead and follow those list of requirements. You deliver that list of requirements, and that's what project was. You compare it with today's time. You go to a customer. Most of the time, the customer is not even technical. They're gonna go ahead and give you business requirements. They're gonna talk about the features they're expecting. They're not going to give you what kind of technology you're supposed to use. They're not going to go ahead and tell you what kind of testings you're supposed to do. They're not going to go ahead and tell you what kind of platforms you're supposed to use. You need to be someone who's supposed to understand all that aspect. And that's why you probably have noticed we do have this trend going on nowadays where you see project managers who are domain centric, who are domain specific. Even when we talk about software development projects, there are project managers who have mastered in banking application development. There are project managers who have expertise in managing and developing e-commerce portals. So the landscape, the place we use to work, the things that are surrounding the entire project management environment, that is going to be very different now. Next thing, changing business environment. What exactly is changing? Practically, there are four things that's gonna go ahead and change pretty frequently. First, uh, it's gonna impact the delivery. So when we talk about the changes that's gonna happen, the environment that we work on, it's getting more complex. It's becoming more complex. Things are getting more jumbled up. Or in simple words, if I have to go ahead and simplify this statement, I would probably go ahead and say that um, the way you look into the project world, you see the dependency of these projects on many other components. When we talk about projects nowadays, you cannot simply go ahead and pick developers or people who are good with coding, they complete their job, then you move to the next lot of people who are good with testing. That's not happening anymore. The whole structure is changing. It's simple example. You end up going ahead and using cross-functional teams. Everyone from different skill set, different expertise, coming together, working together. That's gonna have a major impact. One thing that's changing a lot is the rigor. Since the complexity is changing, the size of the project is changing or is varying. Number of stakeholders involved is changing. Number of stakeholders actively participating in defining the project objective, in defining the project goal is increasing. That essentially means the rigor from your end is supposed to go ahead and increase. Earlier, again, taking an example from the past, going back 20 years, you just had one customer or one stakeholder, two stakeholder at the max, or 4 stakeholders, they give you the requirement, and that's it. Now it's a different story. Everyone wants something from the project to be delivered. And that can only happen when you can go ahead and put that extra effort to bring all these stakeholders together. You don't have to, in today's time, following just a communication approach where you're sending an email, receiving an email, and that's how you're communicating, that's not enough. That's might work, but that's not enough. What is needed is collaboration. Collaboration not just amongst the project manager and the stakeholder, collaboration amongst the stakeholders as well. Another thing that is very drastically changing nowadays is the workforce. That's changing. And that's changing big. When we talk about the change in workforce, now complex technologies are coming in. Technologies which are using other concepts as well are coming in. You have resources who are extremely skilled, who are extremely aware of what is needed, what is supposed to be done. Earlier, if you see the project management world, the project manager was supposed to be or considered to be the subject matter expert for everything and anything that is required from the project. Now it's different. Even the project manager is dependent on the resources that are being assigned to the project or that he or she is picking up for the project, because these resources, they know much better than what the project manager probably is aware of. So next thing, how can project managers evolve as professionals to stay relevant in the dynamic world? First thing, the first and the most critical, most important thing that you're supposed to do, understand the goal of project management for your organization. When I say understand the goal of project management for your organization, I'm not talking about understanding the product or understanding the service or understanding the result that is being expected from the project. Understand what business expect from the project management concept, what they're intending to achieve, what they want to achieve from project management. That's going to be very important, because now from this point onwards, you will be considered as someone who's going to contribute, who's going to help the business deliver value. So you're not just someone who's accountable for creating a product or service. You're someone who's accountable to make sure that value is being delivered to the business. Second thing, rethink your success matrix. Think about those parameters against which you go ahead and measure the progress of the project. Earlier, we used to go ahead and consider the project to be successful if it is able to go ahead and deliver the scope, if it is able to go ahead and meet the defined timeline. That's not the case anymore. It's going to be very different. You probably will be evaluating the project progress based on the value it has achieved, based on the business success, based on the resources performance or the cycle time. How much time you take to go ahead and deliver the product, or in simple words, in the word that we understand, time to market. So the parameters that we use to evaluate our project's progress, that needs to change, because project management is going to change. And next thing, continuously inspect and adapt your ways of working. Do not, yes, you want to use some kind of framework, you want to use some kind of approach, use it as a platform, adapt it, bring changes, bring customization, understand what is your business expectations. When I say business expectations, as a business, what do you expect projects to do? What do you expect the projects to achieve in your organization? And accordingly prepare your project management concepts. Things are going to be changing pretty quickly now. So be ready for it. Embrace the changes. When we say change, I mean, in most of the project environment, which I have seen, when I see organizations who are still following the traditional concept of project management, they normally say that yes, they are open for changes, and that's why they have created something called a change management approach or change management procedure. But understand, when we talk about change management procedure in most of the organizations are established or developed in a way that it restricts the change because of all the bureaucratic restrictions or hindrances created. That's something which is not going to be acceptable by your customers, by your stakeholders. The stakeholders, customers, they want things to be changing frequently. And you, as a project manager, have to make sure that that's going to happen. Bring that transparency, show what's right, show what's not right, and follow it. Based on what you showcasing, you're getting recommendations, you're getting updates, you're getting inputs, implement them. That's going to be from my end. I'm going to hand it over
Thank
to
you
Leela.
so much. As always, it's just a pleasure to hear you talk, and because we know you're such an expert on the subject, so I hope everybody's really was paying attention and taking advantage of that. We are going to take a minute and hear from Nishad. He is our Director of Inside Sales, to introduce some products and promotions and webinar related courses. And while we hear from him, I actually want you guys to go ahead and take a minute and kind of go over in your mind what you heard today, and any questions that you may have, go ahead and put those into the questions panel. And as soon as we're done hearing from Nishad, we're going to go ahead and take those questions and a little question and answer session. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Leela, thank you. I know it's the most difficult part to stay or stick around right after you're done with such an informative session. I would like to first thank all of you for your presence today. And I want to remind us that why we exist in the business in the first place. The purpose of NetCom is to promote the values of lifelong learning. As you can see right in front of me in your screen, the bold, it says, be a lifelong learner. As an organization, not just as an employee, I'm going to tell you that we are promoting the values in so many ways. Not, again, we are a for-profit business. Obviously, we have to make money at some point, but our purpose is to drive the learning so it can impact your life. There are quickly two things I want to talk about today. And all of these are posted under our promotions. I would like to highlight the free project management 2-hour session that we are offering and the benefits that it could bring. If you are representing an organization and your team has at least 10 or more people, you can discuss with us right here, the request form, get in touch with your learning consultant. We will walk you through and generate a session exactly mapping any specific project management area just to vet out our competency, or even just to explore, to learn more about a specific topic within the PMI domain that you would be interested in. As you know, if you are already certified, you have to maintain certain amount of PDUs to maintain this on an ongoing basis. And attending that 2-hour session, I will highlight it here, will allow you to PDUs, which you will have to document to PMI to maintain your credential. So take advantage of it. If you are representing an organization, get in touch with us. And I want to talk about, lastly, a newly launched NetCom Plus subscription. Again, it's a subscription that could add tremendous amount of values to your learning and development this year. The program purpose is primarily targeting the enterprises, small to mid-sized to larger enterprises. And you also can benefit from the individual. If you are not representing a company, you can also sign up. So what it basically means, it's a unique program that allows you to attend as many as instructor-led classes offered by NetCom within the whole year, as many classes that you are available to attend. And you can certainly download the brochure link and whatnot. We're going to be sending you via email. But take a look. Before I talk about price, I want to talk about the area of classes. You think of not just PMI, which we just talked about, all the PMP, PMI, RMP, PBA, all the specific classes that you may be interested in, you can take those classes. Beyond that, if you are exploring technical classes, especially Microsoft, Amazon Web Services, Cisco, Adobe, there are tons and tons of classes. It's about 500 courses for the price of one. How does that pricing work? Pricing is at $29.99 per person, but if you are representing an organization that has more than 10 people, more than 10 attendees or learners, or more than 10 subscriptions, the price drops to $24.99. Now, this is a unique program because it includes your labs, your instructor-led training, and unlimited access to our e-learning content for 12 months. If you are interested in learning more, on the right-hand side, you also have the form which you could fill out where we can get in touch with you to provide more information. So those are the three applicable areas that I feel that you could take advantage of. And on an ongoing basis, even if you're not sure, on the main page, you click on promotions. They're all across the board, all sorts of vendors that we focus on, from Cisco to Microsoft to AWS. You will be able to find our subscription details and everything that comes with it. With that, I would stop, and I want to thank you once again for your presence today. And we hope that in coming days, our learning and development promotional activities will be able to add more values to your days. And if you need any assistance at any point, please just ping us. We're just an email or a phone call away. Have a wonderful day. Back to you, Leela.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate you taking time out of your busy day to present that for us. We are going to go ahead and jump right into our question and answer session. Which is the best project management framework?
I kind of answered this question. There is no defined best project management approach at this point in time. It again depends. Like I said, it depends on the project. It depends on the customer you're working for. There are many approaches. Whatever fits you, whatever suits you is the best approach. At times, you probably have to go ahead and develop your own approach by picking up multiple principles from multiple frameworks. So you go ahead, feel free to create your own approach that works for you, for your organization.
Wonderful. Let's see. Our next question, unless any more come in, our next and final question is, what are the industry types and sectors that are impacted by this changing project management approach?
This is a good question. There's no specific industry type. What's gonna change or what's going to be disrupted, or what approach is going to be disrupted, is project management. That's going to be a universal thing. It's not going to be specific to just IT. It's not going to be specific to just construction. It's going to be everywhere and anywhere. So the change is going to be, you're going to see the impact in project management across the globe universally.
Wonderful. Well, with that being said, it looks like we are out of questions from the audience today. Thank you all for joining us today. If you do come up with any additional questions, please feel free to send them to us at webinar@netcomlearning.com at any time. And we hope you found today's webinar to be informative. We really look forward to seeing you back here with us very soon. Also, feel free to tell your friends and colleagues about our webinars and other courses. Once again, thank you everyone, and have a wonderful day.